Your team sucks. Sunday night edition. I got my man Matt. What's funny is we're going to talk about a lot of Matts tonight because we're going to talk about Detroit Lions versus who, Matt?
Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
This is a good one.
Love the Bears. I'm going to leave it for my take. Fans versus fans, Bears fans versus Lions fans. But we have this nice little series going where we do these teams versus each other for 2020. But we always start out with who has the best fan base, and then who has the best coach, who has the best quarterback, and then who's going to have the better season. So we're not going to start just yet because my man Jordan is running a little bit late for our show. I don't know why the hell he's late, but he's always late. So, Matt, why is Jordan late? What the fuck's going on with Jordan? What's his problem?
I don't know. Maybe he's finishing up those 5 Whoppers that he bought for lunch today.
maybe he's having a Whopper and like a pack of cigarettes before the show.
Maybe. I mean, that's more lunch than dinner, but
that's more lunch. I see. Okay, well,
but actually, I was just thinking of something to talk about. And I had an idea quickly. I read a very, very interesting stat yesterday, and I wanted to share it with the group because I thought it was very impressive.
Okay.
Larry Fitzgerald, the wide receiver for the Cardinals, future Hall of Famer, has more tackles in his career than he has dropped passes.
Wow. That's insane.
I know. I just sat quietly for a few minutes and considered how crazy that was.
Right. That's pretty awesome. Once again, we're going to cover Lions versus Bears 2020 fan base, coaches, quarterbacks, who's going to have a better season. But you know what's awesome, Matt, is we got football, man, in about, 11 days?
I don't even know what today is. Yeah, something like that.
11 days. I believe it's not this coming Thursday, but the day after that. So it's coming up soon. We're all stoked to have it. Hopefully the season won't get interrupted by so many things now can get interrupted by. The world is going fucking nuts, but what can you do? We're just going to keep rolling with it. We're going to add in Jordan here. Jordan's here. So here he is. Oh, man. Jordan, tell us a scary story, bro. Tell us
story. Running in the background. Didn't really get my lighting all set up, but we're good, right? I'm excited about today.
You're ready for
Bears,
campfire horror songs. You're ready for campfire, something, but you got the scary light.
How about that Bears offense last year? That's a horror story.
Good segue. Very good segue. This is, I think, a pretty easy one to start with. I mean, at least my opinion, Bears fans versus Lions fans. I mean, the Bears fan base has the greatest, icon in the history of sports as far as, people doing parodies, things of that nature. Ditka, right? The Bears. And so that fan base is pretty awesome. They're pretty insane. I've got a lot of Bears friends, if you will, and I love that fan base. They're not too hardcore. They're not too crazy about their team. They can be at times, but they're very realistic. And then the Lions fans, I just feel sorry for them. So, so I got to give that one to the Bears. Jordan, Bears fans, Lions fans. What's up?
You got to respect them both, really. It's been a tough division for both those teams for quite a few years now. I love the Lions fans with the bags over their head and the 0-16 season. I just remember the quarterback rolling out at the back of the end zone. I mean, rough times, one failed draft pick after another, and still supporting their team. Got some big Lions fans. I should have let them know about this one for sure.
They're loyal.
Love the Lions fans. Have to give it to the Bears fans, edging them out. But, man, it's close, though. They're both great fan bases.
I mean, you got Ditka, right? I mean, how you can't mess with the whole Ditka thing. The whole fan base is based around what, Matt? Ditka.
I was going to say an SNL skit, but yeah, that's fine too. But yeah, no, I mean, look, to Jordan's point, I think you mentioned it too. Like, both of these fan bases have suffered over the last 20 years or so, maybe more. And so I mean, especially the Lions, they're getting just shit on constantly. But I will say that I do like the Bears fans better. They seem more passionate. They seem more into it. But then again, it's a lot easier to be into it when you actually win games sometimes.
All right.
Those defenses the Bears put up have been fantastic. There's a lot to root for there. Whereas for those Lions fans, there's nothing to root for. It's cold. They're still there. You got to love it.
Neither of those fan bases are fanatical to a point, but they're both very loyal. I will give them that. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's jump into who has the better coach. You got the Matts. You got Matt Nagy, and then you got the Patriot disciple, Bill Belichick, Matt Patricia, who hasn't done very well since he's been there. Perhaps he'll do better this year. This is really hard to call. So I'm going to throw it to you first, Matt, since your name's Matt. And who's a better coach?
Well, first of all, they're both phenomenally named, so kudos to their parents. Second of all, I don't know. For me, it's almost who's the worst coach in this one. Usually we're going the other direction, but I don't know. I have a hard time finding too much positives of these guys in these systems. Now, like Patricia's kind of new to the game, so whatever, but they both have really underperformed. I think Patricia would have been out the door had Stafford not gotten hurt last year.
So if you're just joining us, we're talking about who is a better coach, the Bears coach, Matt Nagy, or the Lions coach, Matt Patricia. We're going to keep covering who's going to have a better season and also who has a better quarterback. So, Jordan, who has the better coach, Matt Nagy or Patricia?
Well, I think that Patriot way doesn't always export very well, which is what we found with Patricia and his team. I like him. I guess I liked him a lot more on the Patriots. Things haven't really worked out that great. He does have a better team, in my opinion. Whereas Nagy showed signs when he was on KC as an offensive coordinator. He looked great. His system looked great. It hasn't really worked with the Bears just yet. I don't think he has the right pieces in place. He hasn't been able to get the right quarterback for it. But I have a lot more hope at this point in Nagy as a coach moving forward. I think once he gets the right pieces in place, I do like his system. So I would say Nagy is probably the better coach. He's proven as a coach.
Who was Nagy's? Where was Nagy before?
Kansas City.
And who was his quarterback?
He was with Alex Smith, I believe, 2016.
Okay. So yeah, so
Good
obviously Alex Smith was a solid quarterback, but I don't know. This is a toss-up. I'm going to give it to Nagy as well. His first year there was a solid year. I believe they made the playoffs his first year. Patricia is yet to do anything, as far as I know. Has he done anything? He had a winning season. He hasn't made the playoffs. He hasn't done anything since he's been there.
About the positive, they can
ride the coattails. He's ridden the coattails of Bill Belichick, and that's pretty much it. And it's probably why he still has his job, is because of that, that lineage and where he came from. I'm sure that's why he still has the job. All right, let's move on.
He's taking some tough injuries and whatnot, so I think every year they can say, "Oh, well, that's not really on the coach." Whereas he hasn't really put it all together either, and every team has injuries and has setbacks.
Exactly. Every team has injuries, and you have to overcome those injuries. Doug Peterson is a great coach. He's overcome a lot. You have to be able to overcome injuries in the NFL. Yeah, Doug Peterson won their division last year with half their roster gone. So you have to be able to win. Patricia has not been able to do that. All right. Who has the better quarterback? What do you think? Lions, Bears, we got now Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky. First of all, who's going to start? Because if we're going to have this comparison, we need to know who's going to start for the Bears. Trubisky or Foles? Jordan?
I think Trubisky starts, honestly. I think they beat him out in camp. I think they went out and they paid Nick Foles because he was the one starting quarterback in the NFL that their draft pick could beat, just to show that they didn't draft a complete bust. And I think there will be some quarterback controversy, but they'll end up going with the younger guy who has higher ceiling at this point. Foles is a solid quarterback. He did win the Super Bowl, but we've seen what he is. And I think there's a lot of potential in Trubisky if he can put it together. He's very athletic.
Right. Sam Bell says this guy's a fool. Bears suck. Which guy's a fool, Sam?
I'm assuming you're talking about John.
Yeah.
But continue. Definitely talking about John.
This guy's a fool. We're looking for, a little bit more specificity there, Sam. Specificity. Be more specific, Sam. Come on. Come strong. That's it. This guy's a fool. Bears suck. That's all you got? Really? Okay, Sam. All right. So, Matt, who's going to start?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think that Jordan's got it nailed there, but I think it's more because the Bears really need him to succeed. You know, they brought Foles in on a contract, which I think was not the best idea. I think it's a bit of a waste of money and I don't know. I was never a big fan of him to begin with, anyway.
He won a Super Bowl. That's
cool.
pretty good. Pretty
I
good.
mean, the other day you were squawking about how that means nothing, though. So,
what do you mean? That if he wins the Super Bowl? I never said that.
Oh, no, that was MVP. That was MVP. My fault.
Yeah, that was you and
Super
Jordan.
Bowl means everything.
No.
All right.
My
Super Bowl means a lot more than an MVP, of course.
I said,
Sam's talking now. The Lions have been building a new roster. The losing helped get them a good cornerback. They rested Stafford. They will have a running game and pass protection.
We'll get into that when we get into offense, but I completely agree with Sam there.
Yeah, that's why Patricia lost games. Well, I guess we'll see, won't we? But I'm not sure. I mean, okay, everybody deals with that stuff, Sam. Every team has to deal with that stuff. Every one of them. So I don't know. I think
it was part of the plan. I mean, it could be.
Right, so,
and they did rest up Stafford.
So y'all didn't answer my question though. Who's going to start for the Bears? Jordan
Trubisky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trubisky starts for the Bears.
So who is a better quarterback, Trubisky or Matt Stafford?
It's not even close.
This will be a short segment. It's Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford is fantastic. Matt Stafford on a different team with a little bit more support would be putting up ridiculous numbers. I would put him up there with almost any quarterback in the league. They're quite good.
Stafford last season was putting up great numbers before he got hurt. I mean, they still were losing games, but he was when he got hurt, he was a QB5 in fantasy at least. You know, standard.
Stafford's an excellent quarterback.
And another
accurate, makes great decisions. He's just been the victim of bad coaching and being on bad teams. And it does happen.
Bad teams, bad organization. Really, they haven't been able to bring in the pieces around him. But to Sam's point, they may be doing that now. Like, I do like the team they've built around him for this year. We'll see if Patricia can coach it.
Yeah, we'll see. This is Matt Patricia's year. If he doesn't make the playoffs this year, he's done. There's no doubt about it. He's finished.
Agreed.
In a tough division.
Yeah, it's a tough division, but who cares? You still got to win. Nobody gives a shit how tough. I'm pretty sure Sam doesn't care how tough the division is. He wants to win, right? I'm sure he doesn't give two shits. And I'm pretty sure Sam would agree with me that if Matt Patricia does not win this year, he's done. And I'm pretty sure Sam is obviously a Lions fan, would want him done. But I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, Sam. So who's going to have a better year? The Lions or the Bears? This is a little bit harder to pick for sure. Jordan, who you got? Lions and Bears. And first, give us the win totals that are brought to us by UWager. What are the lines for win totals? And while he does that, what is your take on each one of these teams and who's going to do better?
Well, okay, so the season win total for the Bears, it depends on how we look at it. Okay, the Bears are going to win more games, I think. Right?
Do you have the win totals there?
Yeah, Bears are at 8 and the Lions are at 6.5 currently right now at UWager. But this is sort of so. Like I said, I think the Bears go under that total though, right? Whereas I think the Lions go over. So I think they both end up with 7 wins this season. But I think that's a win for the Lions, even though they're going to lose Matt Patricia because of it.
I don't think that's a win for the Lions.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say they're going to win 7 games. I meant to say they're going to go over 7 wins. My bad.
Over 7 wins, definitely.
Yeah, well, look, the way Stafford was playing last season, I mean, I hate to use that word career year, but he was on his way. And I was looking at something today where they extrapolated his stats throughout the whole season, and it would have been phenomenal if he kept that up, or even if he just fell off a little bit. And I think he's hungry, I think he's healthy, and I think that the Lions are going to surprise a bunch of people this year.
That would make sense.
I completely agree with him. I love the running. I love their draft. He mentioned the corner, Akuba. He's going to be good, Jeff. They got a shutdown corner. I love the running back they drafted. Their running back was coming on. Galladay came on at the end of the year, even without Stafford, to be not only fantasy relevant, but a true number 1 wide receiver. They picked up Geronimo Allison, so they've got a number 2. They're going to be able to fling the ball all over the field. That defense should be improved. And Hawkinson, the tight end they picked up last year, didn't really show out in his first year, which most rookie tight ends don't. He's going to be good. He's going to be special. And I think we saw that in flashes last year, and it's going to be a big help to that offense.
Right, but who has the better
Lions impress people? The Lions have a better season. The Lions go over, and the Bears go under. I love that Bears defense. Mac is awesome. I do not like how many draft picks and whatnot they gave up for Mac. I think they'll still have a solid defense. The Bears will. That offense, I have questions about. So many tight ends on that offense. They pick up Jimmy Graham. They draft a tight end with their first pick. They had 12 tight ends at one point before the cuts and before trading Shaheem to the Dolphins. Matt Nagy still hasn't been able to find that move tight end in his offense. Trubisky's going to win the starting job. I'm really not sure Trubisky could find any tight end at this point. And so, definitely over and under.
Let me kind of extend this conversation here a little bit. And Jordan, if you want to invite in any of our Vikings fans and any of our Green Bay Packer fans, let's talk a little bit about, do either of these teams have a hope in hell of actually winning that division? Can the Detroit Lions or the Chicago Bears surprise everybody and actually win that division? I'm going to say no, but I think the Vikings are a toss-up this year. And I think that, Green Bay had a really excellent year, but they won all of those games by, 2 and 3 points. They were so, those games were really close every week. They weren't dominant. So I do think there is a slight chance one of these teams actually has a chance to take over the division and win it this year. Remember, the Bears, I think the Bears won the division only a few years ago, right? So I do think if that Bears defense steps up, they might have a shot. And if everything that you, Jordan, Sam, and all the other Lion fans believe about their offense and Matt Stafford, you never know, it could actually happen. So I'm going to ask you this question. Who has the better chance of winning this division against two excellent playoff teams? That would be the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota Vikings. Who has the better chance of actually taking this division from one of those teams? Matt?
Well, like I said, I think the Lions have a better season, so it would obviously be them. Having said that, I don't think it happens, though. Yeah. Unless the stars align completely, and somehow Patricia pulls that defense back together. And that's really the big shocking thing, really, for me last year with them, is how bad their defense was.
Now, see, I'll give you my take all in one here as far as who's going to have a better season. I think the Bears bounce back. I think the Bears had a bad season last year, but the season before that, everybody was talking about the Bears and how great their defense was. And Trubisky had a respectable year. He had a very bad year.
He went to the Pro Bowl as an alternate, but he was in the Pro Bowl. There are pictures of Trubisky in a Pro Bowl uniform. I know it seems strange.
Everybody forgot that the Bears were a contender. A lot of people were talking about the Bears for the damn Super Bowl. And all of a sudden, one bad year, and they're out of the picture. I don't think that's right. I think the Bears have a better season, and I think the Bears could contend, at least out of these two teams, will have a better chance to contend for the division. I'm just not convinced that the Detroit Lions have learned how to win under Matt Patricia. I'm not sure that culture is ready. I'm just not sure. And winning is about culture. It's not always about talent. The New England Patriots have proven that. Many teams have proven that. Dallas Cowboys prove that every damn year. All that talent and they can't win. It's about a winning culture, and Matt Patricia has not been able to do that. Matt Nagy created that for 1 year. Was it a fluke? Maybe, but at least he's done it one time. So I'm going to give it to the Bears to have a better season and to possibly contend for the division. Tell me why I'm wrong, Jordan.
Okay, I mean, you make valid points, you do, and the Bears could put it together. Really, I think with the Packers draft, we would think that with Aaron Rodgers' age, you'd think they'd be in win now mode, but they're really thinking about the future. It's not just the quarterback pick, it's in general. Maybe. They didn't give him any more wide receivers to work with, what he really needed. And I really don't think – I think the Packers could definitely go into a regression this year. And then Minnesota lost a lot of pieces on defense as well. I'm not totally sold in Kirk Cousins, not just because he can't win a game in primetime ever. I think he's won one. He's the worst Monday Night Football quarterback of all time, maybe. And I'm not sold on them. I think Dalvin Cook, their best player, is extremely injury prone. And so we could see a regression from the two powerhouses in there. And I think if somebody steps up and takes it, it's going to be the Lions, because the Lions are in win now mode. Their tank is over, I believe, and they're in win now mode around Matt Stafford while they still have a standout quarterback, which is really what it takes the most to win a division.
I do not agree with you that Green Bay is not trying to win right now. They made the same move when Brett Favre was there, and they got Aaron Rodgers, and they were still trying to win when they got him.
They are, but they're not in win now mode.
That is the philosophy of the organization, is that they always want their next quarterback, and they want him there, 2 or 3 years before he actually starts. And that philosophy has worked out pretty well for them. So I don't believe that they had that draft pick because they're looking towards, not winning this year. They're looking towards winning this year and continuing to win for years after that. So I don't know.
This isn't yesteryear in the NFL when you can sit a high draft quarterback, not to mention the fact that Love has looked terrible in practice so far, but they needed to add more pieces to help Stafford out.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam, thanks for joining the show. We appreciate you too, bud. Don't be a stranger. Come tell us. We'll be checking in quite a bit on the Lions throughout the season. See who was right, see who was wrong. I have this curse of being right all the time. Jordan doesn't have that problem. So
I'll bet the over. You want to bet Bears versus Lions? We can do that right now.
What is the you mean who's going to win more games?
Yeah.
I would probably take that bet offline from you. Let's take it offline, but I'll probably take that one.
Yeah, I mean, considering the Bears won 8 last year and the Lions won 3, I think.
Yeah, I would take that bet.
But I would be on Jordan's side.
But then the Lions went out and had a much better draft, of course, and the Bears traded away all their draft picks. So what do you do?
Made the playoffs. Trubisky was in the Pro Bowl as an alternate 2 years ago. They won 8 games last year. The Lions won how many?
3.
And so you think it's going to be a miraculous, like when the Dolphins went 1-15 and then went 11-5. You think it's going to be one of those deals? Because
I don't think it would be that miraculous. Honestly, I think it was more miraculous in the negative sense that they only won 3 games last year. They had a good team, and the facets of their game where they underperformed is where they should be doing well. So if they normalize this year and continue to play offense well, then they could sniff 10 wins maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I think Nick Foles is there as a backup, but we've all seen what he can do as a backup.
Good point.
He's not playing well.
Yeah, for real. Under a coach, though. Sure. Under a coach who's great with backups.
Well, yeah, but his coach was a backup for the Miami Dolphins. The one he won the Super Bowl with. That would be Doug Peterson. This is this is going to be an interesting division. It really is. I think it's going to be much more competitive than people think. I've kind of talked myself into that conclusion. And so I think it's going to be a good year. We're looking forward to football coming up. We're going to have a really cool show coming up here, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. We're going to do the Dallas Cowboys versus the entire NFL. We're going to do Cowboys versus every team in the NFL because our partner in crime, George, who's not here tonight, is a delusional Cowboy fan. So we just want to do it to fuck with him, quite honestly, but we love him. But Cowboys.
I want to see why he's going to say the Cowboys are better than every other team.
Yeah, that's
one by one, tell me why they're better. We're going to bet a lot of cases of Modelo on that game.
Absolutely. But
we're on that
Cowboys versus this entire division. So it'll be fun. Jordan, any last words before our Sunday night venture here comes to a conclusion?
Can't wait for football. Cannot wait. I mean, we're right there. That Thursday night game is 11 days away. No preseason, so we haven't gotten the expectation that we normally have. We're going right into regular season football. I'm excited.
Matthew.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way Jordan does. And one other thing too, just so you guys know, me and Jordan and some of the guys are going to be rotating, doing some fantasy football stuff coming into the season for all you late drafters, much like we are. And we're also going to try to live stream our draft too. So we're going to try to figure that out, so you guys can be a part of watching us make mistakes and yell at each other and drink Modelo, I guess.
Definitely watch Matt make a lot of mistakes.
There we go. I'm just saying the person that was in your league last year who won, didn't they auto draft?
Team auto draft? Let's not even talk about
auto draft.
That's off air. That's off air talk, man. You can't bring up heartbreak like that.
Well,
one of my leagues, sure.
The truth hurts.
That's the thing about fantasy football.
You never know, baby. The truth is, but the truth is the truth. What can you say? All right, Jordan is the truth. Matt is the truth. Your team sucks is the motherfucking truth. Y'all have a good night. Happy Sunday. Peace.
Peace.